What's up, Tackle Warehouse fans? Down here, ICAST 2024, day one, kind of wrapping up here. We had to stop by and see the informative fisherman, Nick Smith, at the Big Bite Baits booth, here to talk about the best skipper ever. Why don't you go ahead and jump right into it?
All right, so where did that come from, right? When we were developing this bait, they put it in my hands and I said, you guys, this has got to be the best skipping bait ever. Well, we never even went on about that. Next thing you know, they go, yeah, it's called the BSE. And I said, what's that stand for? It's the best skipper ever.
Absolutely.
Why? We designed this bait to be right out of the package, no added weight, the best skipper ever, quite literally. It's weight forward. See all the mass on the end right here? When you rig it, your hook eye is actually on this end. So when you skip it, you have all that mass going forward. We designed it to be super hydrodynamic. You really can't go wrong. This is the slowest bait you could skip without getting a backlash. And you want to know something amazing about this? Accidental action, because that weight's forward, when it hits, it drops at about 1.5 feet per second and it dips down while these little arms just shimmy all over the place. Total accident on that. Skipping, totally by design, but the incredible backward swimming action. You don't even know how to skip into a target. You can hit the target, hold your rod up slightly, and it'll swim right in.
Wow, wow. That is awesome. There's something to be said for that accidental action that happened in the same breath that when you're not trying to catch a fish, somehow you catch more fish.
Yeah,
that is the best skipping bait ever by Big Bite Baits. Thank you so much for sticking around.
Appreciate it, brother.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
That's going to be available on tacklewarehouse.com for pre-order now. All right, guys, next up here at the Big Bite Bait booth, we're here with Gill, great fisherman, absolute hammer, here to talk about the Nekorama worm by Big Bite Baits.
So this Nekorama worm, it's named the Nekorama for a reason. This is the most intentional Neko worm we've ever worked on, and I feel like it's one of the most intentional Neko rig presentation baits on the market. So with this bait, we've got that standard finesse worm profile, that thicker lower portion, you got the tapered tail, and then you got the bulbous end. And what that profile does, it gets that consistent, that vibrating pulling action when you pull that Neko worm. It's got a ribbed front, slick back, it's got a reinforced nose for putting bigger weights in. You got 2 O-ring slots, and where that comes in is, so the reason we put 2 O-ring slots on this bait, one, obviously to keep your O-ring recessed, but when you hook this is the breaking point for the weight of the worm. When you hook your hook through the bottom ring, what happens is you're pulling the bait more over distance than you are shaking it in place. If you hook it under the top ring, you've moved just high enough on the worm that when you pull it, oftentimes you're shaking more of the tail and you're shaking the bait in place more than you are moving it over distance. Awesome. So that's a cool little feature we put in it. Matte colors, heavy salt. Everything about this worm is absolutely tailor-made for the Neko rig presentation. Works great due to the flat back to anything that you need to text pose or fish around cover. But this was specifically designed for that Neko rig. A little bit longer profile, great for big largemouth, big smallmouth, big spotted bass. This is an oversized finesse worm presentation for oversized bass.
Awesome. I myself am a big Neko rig fan, so I hope that I'm going to be able to convince Drew here to let me walk away with a few packs. If not, I might just have to come back and get some myself. No, I'm just kidding. That's going to go ahead and wrap it up here with the Nekorama worm by Big Bite Baits, available on tacklewarehouse.com for pre-order. And with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap up the Big Bite Baits booth in general. Drew, thank you so much for stopping by. Absolutely.